Yeah, I'm going to start with a statement. Before we talk about the game, I do want to address what happened this morning. As you've heard, we have one player in police custody and two players who are in stable condition after sustaining injuries. More than anything, I'm grateful that those two players are in stable condition, and we will make sure that they have the support that they need. I hope you will join me in lifting them and their families in your thoughts and prayers, as our team is doing right now too. And I also ask that you'll please respect their privacy as they deal with what happened. Due to privacy concerns and the ongoing nature of the police investigation, I can't provide any further details about the incident or the individuals involved. The team as a whole decided they wanted to play today, but we did have several players who understandably chose to sit out, and we certainly respect that decision. Our priority remains the health and well-being of our student athletes, and we want to make sure they have access to take advantage of the support and resources available to them. I'm really proud of this team, the way they came together and competed today, even with heavy hearts. This allowed our seniors to compete in their last game at Protective, and it's a testament to our team's dedication to each other and to UAB. If you have any questions about the game, I'll take them at this time. But I'd actually like to start with an opening statement first. The first thing, obviously, again, as I just mentioned, it was definitely a tough day. Outside of football, but getting to the football, South Florida, obviously a very good team. This is a team that came in here highly regarded. They beat Florida earlier in the year. They're a 2-loss team. They're the 5th offense in the country, and so I have a lot of respect for them and for Coach Golish and the job they've done there. We obviously, this was a tight game for a half. I think it was a 1-score game going in the half. It's 17-10. I thought our defense, had a tall order today. I thought they competed really well in the game, and I think offensively, we tried to play complementary to help them a little bit. South Florida today, and we had some guys make plays, let me say that. I thought our backs ran hard. The offensive line tried to compete hard as they could. South Florida did a good job. They really loaded the box today and played tight, a lot of tight man coverage. We were without, obviously people know we're out without Corey Milner at receiver. We're also without Xavier Daisy and Caleb Brown out there today too. So those are things that we obviously had to work and game plan around. I thought the guys that were out there, did step up as much as they could. Obviously, Iverson Hooks had a pretty big day. But I think we missed some opportunities. We had some opportunities. While there were some good things that kept us in that game, we had opportunities where we were able to get some people open that maybe we couldn't get it to them, whether that was a decision or whether that was protection related. You can go back on the iPad and see it, where I think, our staff, we did a good job putting some things together, and guys did a good job executing their part, minus a player or two on a play. And then some of it too, just, we also have to win. South Florida, a lot of it, they turn it into, a man-to-man game, in a game about winning those matchups. And so they did a good job in the game too on winning on some of those, and we won on some of ours. But we've got to win on a more consistent basis when someone says, hey, they're going to challenge you in that manner and not play softer zone. But again, it was a tough day. It was a tough day for a lot of our guys, and really appreciate the way that they fought and competed today. Really did. I'll take any questions you have at this time.
What was the process of deciding you were going to play? I mean, kind of what went into that?
Without going into a lot of detail, we had we spoke as a team, and we spoke with the team, and those guys really wanted to play today, and the conversation went back to the seniors. With it being senior day, they wanted to go play for them and give them an opportunity to go out and compete and play. So that was probably the biggest thing.
And with it being an emotional day with all that, what was the pregame? Kind of how did you handle pregame and try to, I guess get the players locked in and that type of thing? I mean, what was pregame like?
Right. Yeah. I mean, one, I think we want to be very sympathetic to what everyone's going through, and made sure everyone understood they had an opportunity to seek counseling or anything that they needed or wanted, and that we were here to help them. The university was here to help them. I thought our administration, you know, Mark Ingram, and the whole staff really stepped up to try to support our players and help them. And so they knew that there was help available if they needed it and wanted it. And then upon, guys deciding they wanted to play, it was really just getting focused back on the task at hand. And, we have a process and a routine that we go through in pregame. And I think, staying committed to that probably helped guys just, get refocused on the job.
Alex, between the coaching change and now this, obviously this program's been through a lot over the past month. How do you, as the interim coach, how do you handle something like this, and how do you want to finish strong here next week?
Yeah, look, the team has been through a lot, certainly, over the last couple months. And look, I mean, at the end of the day, like, sympathetic to what, some of people have been through and our team. And so it will continue to be. And we've got things in place to do that. And then two, it's like, there's a game next week. So we're going to go compete. I mean, that's the way I'm wired. It's the way I've always been wired. And so, we're going to get to work. And, and I think the guys will too, and I think too, it's like part of our job is, in coaching, coaching is about teaching too. And, there's a lot to learn from this game, and we'll do that. We'll talk about, hey, here are the things we did well. And look, here's the things that would have helped you win this game or would have kept us in it into the fourth quarter. And so, it's no different, than from that standpoint, the technical corrections we've got to make to help these guys, help our team, and then help these guys develop as players. So that part, will be status quo. We'll just try to do it better.